So, Helga Zepp LaRouche today just issued a call to ban killer video games and internet violence. And what this immediately made me think of was a paper by L. Wolf uh, back from 1998, although I read it, I believe, in 2004, about brainwashing and about how the what most people are subjected to by the media is a form of soft brainwashing that uh, and disinformation. But what people, they haven't been hard brainwashed in the sense that they've been stuck in a chair and electrodes tied to and forced to do something, and then shocked if they don't do it, and then tried to be forced to do something, and then shocked if they don't do it. But it is a very similar sort of method that is soft brainwashing. That is this idea, of anxiety or of stress, and then a release, or then of excitement. And there's this principle that video games are built on, that you get a reward for, probably, when you first start out, it's a reward for a small task. You do a small task and suddenly you get rewarded, and the task gets bigger and more complex, and you get another reward at the end of that, and then it keeps going like that, and through that you get people to, you induce a state in which they're more suggestible. That you suggest to them that the idea of this series of events is joyful in and of itself, even though it has no tie to anything in reality. It is just your emotional feeling state at that moment. So I mean, this is how people have been induced to, and video games now are marketed on how addicting they are, as if that was a good quality, as if something is good because it's addicting. It's not. You might be able to say, okay, well, they're saying that you're having so much fun that you'll find it addicting. It's like, well, okay, but you have to ask yourself if you're having fun doing the right thing. Are you having fun doing something lawful, or are you having fun, are you just having fun? Right? There is as Schiller goes through in the Aesthetical Education of Man, there is an idea of when you should have joy, and of when you should have sorrow, and of when you should have anger, and there is a lawfulness to emotions, and to when you should feel them, and you have to, but you have to, the educated mind has to control that and know, and to educate his emotions to feel joy at the right moments, and feel pain and have grief at the right moments, and through that process deal with them and move forward and build from them and use them to build himself. So so automatically you getting the sense that the person who is going through these series of events is losing touch with what a real sense of joy is. That they're having the sense of joy of accomplishment from that is natural from accomplishing something, changed to something that's meaningless, something that's a hollow victory that doesn't mean anything. It isn't going to mean anything to anyone on the longer arc. So this is, and from that standpoint, if you can get people into that state, you can gradually get them to accept more and more of these hollow victories, and the tasks that they do to achieve those can become, you can gradually ramp up the violence, you can gradually ramp up all this degeneracy by just simply saying, okay, well, I may not be, I'm gonna go through this, I'm gonna get this, I find this, I get the reward, I enjoy this game, and there, as a result, you see that people enact things that are degenerate and that are violent, and even if they aren't enacting it in real life, they have the act of doing that desensitizes them, and gives them and has an effect on them. So, and that's with these guys, that's how Will Surgeon, who was one of these Tavistock guys, talked about inducing public opinion and social control, right? And that you can get people to, or people often reduce complex problems to simple formulas, right? When it's based on what others around them believe, right? So if you get if one of the problems you're facing is, well, how do we solve this global warming problem? And you say, okay, well, this is clearly a solution to this problem, and then how do we solve this this other problem, and you begin to set up a belief. You can set up a belief without really backing it up. And then you can have people come in and say, well, this celebrity said that this is true, and that we need to do something on this. And it's like, well, does that mean that they are a scientist and that they know what they're talking about? So yeah, so it's the idea of the aura of reality, the appearance of reality, that's shaped through that's a belief shaped through a series, this process, the series of events, So it's clear that hopefully there would not only be a ban on violent video games, but to a certain extent a ban on video games in general. Maybe even maybe you would want to start in a certain sense for banning it for people below a certain age, like alcohol or like tobacco. People who have these vices, who develop this, okay, I can do this and it gives me some pleasure, later in life, don't develop it as in the same problematic sense that if it starts younger. In most cases. So it's clear that that there needs to be a re-education of mankind, going back to this aesthetical education, and that people need to think about who really shaped their beliefs and how they've become, what they do on a regular basis, and what they think is enjoyable, and what they think is the meaning of their lives. What do they spend their time doing? So just some of the thoughts that came to mind with this call to ban violent video games, internet violence. And I hope there's some thought-provoking comments. I hope people go back and read this paper by L. Wolf on how the media brainwash you, and read Helga Zepp-LaRouche's statement as well, and the aesthetical education of man, and the Schiller's poem, The Cranes of Ibycus. So that's what I have to say.